What up, everybody? I just wanted to do a video here, pretty much talking about why I thought this was a very good, all-encompassing reason why I'm creating this channel, even to begin with. I came across this video. I'm a simple man. I watch Asmongold, right? I saw Asmongold cover this, and I just thought it was super important. This is the immediate future that we are looking at. Automation when it comes to AI, robots, things like that. One thing that I was pretty interested in is that not a lot of people are paying attention to this. And if you look at Asmongold's views, he can garner millions of views in a matter of days. When he covered this video, it's been about 2 weeks, and he only has about 700,000 views on this, which I know it's not indicative of his other videos. They could be going on longer, but it just shows that I don't think this is very important to people, because honestly I think people don't really know what they can do to fix it. And if you can't do anything about it, you might as well just get screwed over, because you can't do anything about it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to watch a little bit of this, and then I'm going to show you a very important point that Asmon makes, which is kind of the whole reason I'm starting this channel. This is my second video, and I thought it was interesting. This is a good video for me to kind of put my first foot down on YouTube about.
Climate change, the move toward authoritarianism, the horrific war in Gaza, the growth of oligarchy, etc., etc., etc. I want to take a few minutes talking about another issue of enormous consequence that just doesn't get the kind of attention I think it deserves. Everybody agrees that artificial intelligence, AI, and robotics are going to have a transformative impact on our country and the world. There is very little disagreement about that. There are, however, very strong disagreements as to what those impacts will be.
Okay, so I don't really see how people can be in disagreement about how large these impacts are going to be. We are obviously making robots to clean homes, just look at this over here. This is just like, everyone knows Rumbas, right? But there's a if I can't find it. I'll be able to find it. Give me a second. So, like, these robots are getting more and more prevalent. Where, look at this right here. This is crazy. It's wild. So this is just another innovation. It's happening everywhere. There's no reason to believe that any job, if you provide any service, anything you could possibly think of, it will not be around anymore. I think this is super important. This is also the reason why I'm starting this channel. It's essentially because I kind of feel stuck. I'm not going to go into what I do or anything like that. It's kind of why I have this anonymity. I have a job where I really don't want people to know that I'm making any videos or trying to start content or anything like that. The purpose of this automation, as Bernie says, is to just make sure the efficiency of humanity is just streamlined. It's going to take less effort, less energy to deliver products, to create products, to essentially do things in a more efficient way. Robots will be taking our jobs, to put it simply. And it kind of ties into what I'm doing here. It's because I feel stuck. I want to be able to do something that I want to do. And the problem that I have here is that I spent quite some time and effort into doing a profession that I want to do. And for all intents and purposes, I loved doing it for a fair bit of time. The problem is we have no control over, what type of management comes in, what type of individuals will be running your day-to-day work, duties, responsibilities. So when management changes, you're here with a job that you may have loved, only left with now some new facets of the job that now you don't really enjoy too much. And the difficulty is that finding another job is just not as easy as it should be, to be frank. If you want to get hired somewhere else, it could take, I mean, in some areas, it could take weeks, months, even years to get the jobs that you want to get vetted, etc. And I am fortunately lucky enough, I am of a lucky few, that I have a few job opportunities around, so that if I don't like my job, I could fairly simply go to a different job in the same sort of, um, I guess, service type of industry. But let's go ahead and let's keep on.
Who will benefit from these changes and who will be hurt? So here is my take. Some of the very wealthiest people in the world, including Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and others, are now investing hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars into these revolutionary, transformative technologies. Now, why is that? Why are they doing that? Is it because they want to improve the standard of living of the 60% of our people who live paycheck to paycheck? Americans who are struggling to pay for groceries, healthcare, housing, education? Maybe. Maybe they are staying up nights worrying about the working families of America. But I doubt it. I think it's because investing in AI and robotics will increase their already incredible wealth and power exponentially. Among other impacts, the artificial intelligence and robotics being developed by these multi-billionaires will allow corporate America to wipe out tens of millions of decent-paying jobs, cut labor costs, and boost profits.
So this ties into something that I kind of want to talk about, which made me think about why I'm doing this, why I'm creating a channel, why I'm wanting to kind of get away from a 9 to 5, put more effort into doing something that I want to do that could possibly go somewhere where I don't have someone breathing down my neck or telling me what to do, how to do it, things like that, because we end up in an area where we need the job when it should be the opposite. The jobs should need us. I, like I said, am fortunate enough to go to another place fairly simply, but not a lot of people are. Not a lot of people are that lucky. If, say, we did have the ability to go somewhere and jobs were hiring easily, unemployment, you'd think with how prevalent it is, it should be easy enough to just apply somewhere and get a decent job. It's not. Someone trying to get a decent job, and I say decent, I'm not talking about minimum wage or some type of dead-end job that doesn't give you retirement, doesn't give you any sort of benefits. Maybe you're getting hired part-time and you're living paycheck to paycheck. You have 2 jobs, single mom with kids, or just an individual trying to make it, you can't even rent anywhere or get a home without being with more than one person. You have multiple people living in an apartment just so that way they can afford it. People living with friends, people living with families, just so they can afford their living space, because one income is not sufficient to do it. If we weren't so reliant on our jobs and it wasn't so hard to get another, then quite easily we could say, I don't like it here, I'm going to leave, which would make us way more valuable to the job market, because we would be free to leave whenever we felt we weren't being treated correctly, whenever our management is, not, I guess, managing that we believe it in an efficient way, or if some people are just mean, or however you want to classify a negative job environment, we would be able to leave. And that's not how it is now. Millions and millions of people are staying at their jobs and they hate it. And we can't do anything about that. And this kind of ties in exactly why I believe this is relevant to my channel. Asmon Gold puts it here. This is a little later in the video where Bernie is... Now, Bernie, I disagree with a lot of what he says, but this is absolutely an imminent danger to our society, and I do believe that he is at least somewhat right on this issue. This is a little later in the video, but Asmon has a comment here about Bernie's talking about how Amazon is removing jobs because they have over 1 million robots working in their factories now. I believe the figure in the Bernie Sanders video was something like 27,000 jobs have been replaced, and now those 27,000 human jobs are then being swapped out with the now over 1 million robots in these Amazon job areas where they're fulfilling that role. This is what Asmon has to say about it, and I have to say, Asmon, I agree with him.
Wait. 2022. The company now has more than 1 million robots working in its warehouses.
I'm going to give a hot take. Good. The real problem is not actually that robots are taking our jobs. It's that we need jobs to survive.
That's the issue. If we weren't so reliant on our jobs, we wouldn't feel so trapped. Because if I have to get another job, if my job gets me angry and I'm now filled with some minor sense of rage because of being treated unfairly, getting called in and talked to by management for something that you believe is inconsequential or just ridiculous, to be honest, then you don't have the ability to leave without consequence and say, fine, I don't like this, I quit. Now your job search could be days, weeks, months, and you're here all the while the world keeps spinning and you constantly have bills to pay. Every month goes by and you continue to have to grind. If you don't have that capability to grind, then you are not going to eat. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your car, get it repossessed, etc. So I believe that right now there's a power imbalance. It comes down to the employer knowing that the employee needs the job more. However, if we were able to say, hey, I don't need this job, I'm only here because I want to be here, I want to provide value to your company, then the power imbalance would be such that it would be the opposite. The employers would strive to make a better workplace for the employees. But not everyone has a union. Not everybody is able to find a job where they like to be at. I fortunately found a job that I enjoy to be at. Things changed, and now I don't want to be at this job. this is rough because although I don't want to leave, I'm stuck in a position where I'm making some pretty critical life choices for my family. And this is just not conducive to success at all. What you need to do is you need to find a way to stop trading your time for money, stop becoming employed, and start self employing yourself. Start creating things, make a product, start a business, maybe start some videos on YouTube to hope that, in due time you get views and they take off. This is the reason I'm starting this. It's just too hard. It's too hard out there right now. We live such short lives. We can't spend it with our family because we're working all the time. And even when you find a good job, things can change, leading to you not even wanting to be at that job anymore. Starting the job search all over again, having to claw your way back up from scratch, which could be detrimental to your finances, to your ability to provide to your family. This, I think, is going to be exasperated. I think everyone needs to pay attention. This is extremely important. If things don't get fixed in preparation for these changes, there will be chaos ensuing. We can go here to, just to show you a little. The correlation. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at spelling. Correlation between unemployment and crime. So it's no secret, okay? There's multiple papers published. There's enough empirical data to suggest that, generally speaking, we know that there is a positive correlation between crime rates and employment. Often positive correlations. That means as unemployment goes up, crime goes up. It's fairly simple to understand, right? And it's a negative feedback, because if you look at these crime-ridden areas, not only will unemployment affect crime, but crime will affect unemployment. Who is going to want to start a business in a place that constantly is getting robbed? No stores are going to want to open. Nothing, and without, that's jobs, right? So who's going to want to work in an area where it's crime-ridden? So the more crime, the less jobs. The less jobs, the more crime. It becomes a terrible feedback loop. And this is what's going to happen if we don't get our stuff together on this. We need to start understanding that so many jobs will, anything you could possibly imagine a human doing, they will be outsourced to a robot. Will. Not if, will. It will happen. And with this, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to find out that you were never really that valuable to begin with. Because a robot, 2 or 3 robots can do your job, and they can do it nonstop. They will not get tired. They don't need benefits. All they need is maintenance once a month, and they can do that maintenance from other robots. Humans don't need to do that. You can have robots checking on robots. Full automation. So if you don't get into the area of art and artistic creation, or something along the lines of entertainment, or perhaps maybe being a business owner that is the person who is controlling the robots, you will be left behind. Everyone. Everyone from paramedics, emergency services, police, firefighters, people who are cutting hair, people who are serving you, busboys, cooks, chefs, and anything you could possibly imagine where a human is at a job, it will be more efficient at some point to put a robot in that same position. What's going to happen when we still need jobs for a life? Just like Asmon said, it's not a problem that this is happening. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. Who wants to be like the rest of the millions of us, like me, where we have a job that we hate and we're just staying here because we need to for the sake of providing? We need a job for our livelihood. So now at some point, it's going to get to the point where you don't have a job, not because you can't find one, but because you have been replaced. I believe this is a good thing overall. The problem is the way we have our society set up, it is a terrible thing that will happen because millions of people without jobs will lack purpose. If you lack purpose, there will be chaos in the streets. Crime rate will absolutely go bonkers. People will be in very real danger. I don't know how to solve that. And the only way I could see that does get solved is if somehow, some way we have a minimum resource standard of we're given, we're only allowed to have so many kids, we're only allowed to have a home that's provided to you by an administrative authority like a government. That home is given, so many gallons of water every month. That home is given, so much amount of food or groceries every month. And if you exceed that, I mean, well, you're screwed. You have to make do with what you have. I see this as coming very soon, a lot sooner than we think. It only took about 50 years to 60 years to have full automobile. I mean, it was horses and buggies. People saying automobiles were a crazy thing in the early 1900s. And 50 years later, we were completely transforming our infrastructure to accommodate for automobiles and phase out horses. 50 years. And that's without AI, right? That's without the ability of a computer intelligence to utilize processing power to make models and find the most efficient way to make an automobile, to mass produce the automobile, to make the automobile the most efficient. That's without that. It took 50 years. Now we have a computer intelligence that can help us mass produce better, more efficiently, that can help us create robotics that would be the most efficient at a task with doing the most effective things. It's coming, and it's coming soon, and there's going to be millions of us that aren't going to know what to do. This is just a warning. I figured this would be a good video to start off because it kind of, for me, because it kind of dives in, it dips its toes into why I'm starting this in the first place, because I'm at a job I don't want to be at, so I'm starting to create content here. Fair warning, guys, so I'll make another video at some point. It's been good. It's been real. T-shirt dude, signing off.